In times of uncertainty, it may feel like the little words, but what if, are appearing a lot in your mind at the moment. Whereas a few weeks ago, our future seemed quite certain. We had plans maybe for 6 months, 12 months, maybe 3 years, 5 years, and all of those seemed really possible and achievable and likely. Now it feels like all of that has been thrown up in the air, and we simply don't know what the future holds. And that can feel a little scary and a little unnerving. And with every decision that we make, we feel like we need to work out every single possible computation of what might happen to ensure that we're going to be okay. And so what our imagination does is it helps us with that process. And it draws upon every experience we have ever had, every experience that everybody else has ever had, things we've read in the media, things that we've learned, maybe things we've watched on TV, everything is in there. And it will draw upon all of that to construct for us an imaginary future. Now, it may be that some of those futures seem really likely and possible because we know that they've happened in the past, so we think that that must happen in the future. And this is the sole purpose of that process, is to make sure that we're going to be okay. So our minds create this scenario, and then we have to work out how we're going to be okay if that happens. So we work out a contingency plan. But what if we were always okay? What if, when we look back on our lives, even at our times when we were at our most messiest, when we really didn't think in that moment we were okay or going to be okay, we actually were okay? Steve Jobs famously said, "You can't connect the dots going forward. You can only connect them going backwards." So you have to trust that they're going to connect in some way. You have to trust on your gut or destiny or karma. I'm paraphrasing. But essentially that is what he said. So where does that leave us with the what if thinking? If the dots are going to connect in some way, what is the purpose of all this what if thinking? Because it can be incredibly stressful. Well, in my mind, it's not terribly helpful at all. It's thinking that we think has information in it that is useful and helpful, but so often it doesn't. So imagine your what if is like, it's like a train. You know, that what if thought is like a train, and it pops into your mind like a train pulls into a station. If you were at your local station, you wouldn't have to get on every single train just because they arrived on the station platform. You have a choice which one to step on. Now, if you step on that what if train, it can take you to an imaginary future, one that might seem really full of worry and stress and fear. And so know that you don't have to get on that train. You have a choice. You can let the what if thought simply pop into your mind and allow it to pass. We don't have to interact with it. We don't have to pay attention to it. We can let it do what thoughts do, which are simply pass by if we don't interact with it in any way. So how do we know what to do? Well, put simply, we always know what to do. When I coach business owners and professionals, so often they've got caught up in this what if whirlwind, but actually they've always known what to do. But often that answer might not make sense, or it might fly in the face of advice, or actually it might just feel like common sense and it just seems a little bit too easy to take that step. But when we allow all of the what if thinking to pass and we settle, we so often do have the answer. And that answer has a very different quality about it. It feels more certain, it feels more secure, it feels more dependable. Now, it may be that that isn't the full answer. We might not have the full picture, but we know what the next step is. And as long as we know the next step, we can continue moving forward.